Hello and welcome to Storytime. I'm glad you're here because we're going to read Mickey Mouse, the Kitten-Sitters. And this is written and illustrated by the Walt Disney Company. And look, there's Mickey Mouse throwing his dog a bone. If you guys end up liking this story, make sure to give a little thumbs up at the bottom. Here we go. Guess what? Said Mickey Mouse to his nephews Morty and Ferdy. We're going to be kitten-sitters. Minnie is going to leave Figaro the kitten with us tonight while she visits her cousin Millie. At that moment, there was a wild clucking and flapping and crowing from next door. Pluto the pup came racing across the lawn with a big, angry rooster close behind him. Pluto hid under the porch while Mickey shooed the rooster back to his own yard. "Pluto!" scolded Minnie. "Chasing chickens again? Aren't you ashamed?" Pluto was a bit ashamed, but only because he let the rooster bully him. Creeping out from under the porch, he wagged his tail and sheepishly tried to grin. "I think it's a good thing Figaro's going to stay with you," said Minnie to Mickey. "Figaro is a little gentleman. He can teach Pluto how to behave." With that, Minnie handed her kitten to Mickey, and she got in her car and drove away. Minnie was scarcely out of sight when Figaro jumped out of Mickey's arms and scampered into the house. In the kitchen, he saw a pitcher of cream that Mickey had forgotten to put away. One short jump up to a chair seat, followed by a second jump to the tabletop, brought Figaro right to the cream. The pitcher wobbled, then tipped over. Cream spilled and ran off the table onto the floor. Pluto growled a warning growl at Figaro as Figaro lapped up the cream. "Take it easy, Pluto," said Mickey, wiping up the spilled cream. "Figaro is our guest." When Figaro heard that, he wrinkled his nose at Pluto and stuck out his little pink tongue. That's a naughty kitten. Then he romped through the ashes in the fireplace and left sooty footprints on the carpet. "Figaro's a very messy little guest," said Mickey's nephew Morty as he got out the vacuum cleaner. At dinner time, Pluto ate his dog food the way a good dog should. But no matter how Mickey and the boys coaxed, Figaro wouldn't touch the special kitty food Minnie had left for him. He did at last nibble on some imported sardines. "He's a fussy little guest," said Ferdy. At bedtime, Pluto curled up in his basket without any complaint. Did Figaro curl up on the fine, soft cushion Minnie had brought him? He did not. Instead, he got into bed with Morty and snipped at his toes. Then he got into bed with Ferdy and tickled both his ears. Finally, he bounced off to the kitchen, and the house became very still. "Uncle Mickey," called Morty, "did you remember to close the kitchen window?" "Uh-oh," cried Mickey. He jumped out of bed and ran to the kitchen. The kitchen window was open and Figaro the kitten was nowhere to be seen. Mickey and the boys went through the house. They looked under every chair and behind every door. "Figaro!" they called. They went out into the yard. They looked under every bush and behind every tree. No Figaro. "He's really run away," Mickey decided at last. Monty and Ferdy followed Mickey back to the house, where Mickey put his coat on over his pajamas. "You two stay here," he told the boys. Pluto and I will find Figaro. Leave the porch light on for us." Pluto didn't wag his tail, and he didn't even try to grin as he got out of his cozy basket. But off he went to help Mickey in the search. They went to Minnie's house first, but Figaro hadn't gone home. Then they went to the park down the street. "Have you seen a little black and white kitten?" Mickey asked the policeman at the gate. "I certainly have," answered the policeman. "He was by the pond teasing the ducks." Mickey and Pluto hurried to the pond. Figaro wasn't there. He had been there, though. He had left behind some small muddy footprints and several large excited ducks. Mickey and Pluto followed the trail of footprints to Main Street, where they met a crew of firemen. "I'm looking for a black and white kitten," said Mickey to the fireman. "Is that so?" said one of the firemen. "We just rescued a black and white kitten. He had climbed a telephone pole and couldn't get down again. He ran through that alley." In the alley, a dairy truck driver was busily cleaning up broken eggs in his truck. "Have you seen a kitten?" asked Mickey. "Have I?" said the driver. "He jumped into my truck and knocked over dozens of eggs." "Ah," Mickey groaned as he paid for the smashed eggs. "Figaro's going on quite the adventure tonight. When Mickey and Pluto finally trudged home, it was dawn. They had searched the whole town. They had even been to the police station, but they had not found Figaro. "What will Aunt Minnie say?" asked the boys. "I hate to think what Aunt Minnie will say," answered poor Mickey. Before long, Minnie drove up. Mickey and the boys looked worried as they went out to meet her. "Where is Figaro?" asked Minnie. No one answered. "Something has happened to him." Minnie was upset, and she was angry. "Can't I trust you to watch just one sweet little kitten for me?" Just then, there was a loud clucking and squawking from the yard next door. At least a dozen frantic hens came flapping over the fence. Close behind the hens came the big angry rooster. Close behind the rooster came Figaro the kitten. Figaro's fur was rumpled, and he carried a long tail feather between his teeth. "There's your sweet little kitten," said Mickey. "Figaro!" cried Minnie, not believing her eyes. At the sound of her voice, Figaro skidded to a sudden stop. He sat down and meowed a gentle little kitten meow. He tried quickly to smooth his dusty fur with his little pink tongue. "He ran away last night," explained Mickey. "He teased the ducks in the park and broke the eggs in the dairy truck, and now he's chasing chickens," finished Minnie. "I'd hoped he'd teach Pluto some manners," Minnie went on. "Instead, Pluto has been teaching him to do those naughty things. Teasing ducks, chasing chickens, the very idea. I'll never leave him here again." "It wasn't Pluto's fault," protested Morty. "He didn't do anything bad," added Ferdy. "He stayed up all night trying to find Figaro." But Minnie wouldn't listen. She picked up Figaro, got into her car, and drove away quickly. "Don't worry, boys," said Mickey. "We'll tell her the whole story later, when she's not so upset." "Please don't tell her too soon," begged Morty. "As long as Aunt Minnie thinks Pluto is a naughty dog, we won't have to kitten sit with Figaro." Mickey smiled. "Maybe we should wait a little while. We could all use some peace and quiet." "I did learn one thing," yawned Mickey, as he stretched out beside Pluto under a shady tree. "There's not much sitting in kitten sitting." Well, that was a funny story. Who do you think was better behaved, Figaro or Pluto? Well, thank you guys for joining me for that story, and I hope you'll come back for another one. If you guys enjoyed reading that story, would you please click subscribe down below? We read new stories just like this one every day, and we would love to let you know when there's a new story to listen to.